Hello and welcome to your stretching video with Core Motion Fitness. We're gonna go ahead and get going right away with some heat building to get your body warmed up before we go into some deeper stretches. Let's go ahead and come to the end of our mat. Beginning with the big shoulder roll. Roll your shoulders up, back, and around. Soften your knees. Take a big inhale through your nose and out through an open mouth. And continue breathing deeply. And let's go ahead and begin to just tuck our chins, roll ourselves down into a forward fold. Keeping a softness in your knees, let your head hang between your biceps. And walk your hands up to your thighs. Flatten out your back, extend through the top of your head. And tip forward into a forward fold. Walk your hands back up and extend through the spine. And once again, tip forward, reaching a little further toward the floor every time. And walking those hands back up into a half lift, extend through your spine, lift your tailbone slightly. And on your last one, reach your hands toward the mat. Move your head from side to side between your arms. And walk your hands up into a half lift. And hold. Bend both knees, tuck your tailbone, roll yourself back to the top, resetting good posture, shoulders rolling up, back, and around. And moving into our second set for heat building, hinging at the hips, flat back. Take your right knee, bend it, while your left leg goes straight. Feeling a nice lengthening through that straight leg. And begin to switch, allowing the weight of your body to sink into your straight leg. And switch again. On this next one, if you'd like a little more rotational stretch, reach across your body to your bent leg. Give a little hug to the outside of your bent knee. And switch sides. And switch again on this next one. If you'd like to, reach further around your body. And switch. And we'll take one more on each side. Sink a little deeper into that straight leg. Wrap your arms around your body, reaching up back toward the hip. Turning your head to look back past your shoulder. And switch to the other side. Bend both knees, tuck your chin, roll yourself slowly up to the top. Shoulders roll up, back, and around. Soften the knees, and we're going to move into a crouching position. So feet hip distance, maybe a little bit wider. You can adjust this as needed. We're going to just bend both knees, reach our hands out in front to support, and crouch. Now your heels are off the ground in this position. We're working on stretching through the ankles and Achilles. You're also going to feel a nice stretch through the bottoms of your feet. Hold here and breathe deeply. From here, we're gonna go onto our hands and knees. So hands are underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath your hips, your toes are tucked under your feet, and you're just going to rock gently back, feeling a nice stretch through the arches of your feet, and hold. And we're gonna rock back into that crouching position, so press off of the mat, move your body back. Again, staying on the balls of the feet, heels are off of your mat. It's a great thing to do first thing in the morning. Wake up your body. And rock forward once again. Get into your position, knees under hips, tuck your toes, and rock back. And we're not sitting on our heels. Okay, we're just keeping our hips high, feeling the stretch through the bottoms of our feet. And rock yourself back into that crouching position. And if it doesn't feel comfortable to be down low, if it's uncomfortable on your knees, you're also welcome to come up into a squat. You're still getting that ankle flexion. And rock forward onto your hands and knees once again. Again, retuck the toes if you need to, and shift your weight back. Good job. And for the last time, we'll rock back into that crouch. Now, as you've created more length in your Achilles, think about dropping your heels closer to the mat. And then walk forward once again. Reset, and hips hinge back. Right, let's go ahead and come back to our feet. Walk your hands in. You can rock yourself back. Bend your knees and roll yourself slowly back up to the top. Our next heat building exercise or stretch is a bootstrapper. Now normally we would do these very quickly if we were doing a boot camp type class, but we're gonna do this in more of a stretching aspect. So again, from the side view, a couple different options. Hands can start on the knees. We're gonna bend both knees, drop our heels to the ground, and then lift our hips high and stretch the back of our legs. Okay, so this is your modified version right here. Knee bend, and then straight legs. You can reach further down your legs if you've got the flexibility for that. Okay, so bend, and then stretch. We're gonna take this slow, so let's breathe. Inhale, and on our exhale, extend. And continue with that same breathing pattern. Big inhale on the bottom, and exhale. And two more. Drop your hips a little lower each time. All right, bend both knees, and we're gonna put it together from the top. Roll your shoulders up, back, and around. Wiggle your legs. Take a deep breath. Bring your feet back together underneath your hips. We'll begin with our shoulder rolls and our deep breath. So, breathing at your own pace, rolling your shoulders at your own pace. Open up through the front of the body. Feel your shoulder blades pull together as you roll your shoulders back and around. And one more time. All right, soften your knees, drop your chin towards your chest, roll your body down toward the mat into that forward fold, reaching the hands toward the mat. And walk your hands up to your thighs, extend through the top of your head. And bend your right knee, straighten your left, and wrap your arms around your body. And switch to the other side. From here, we'll go right into that crouching position. So reach your hands out in front, soften your knees, come onto the balls of your feet. Walk forward onto all fours, retuck your toes underneath your feet, rock your hips back, feeling the stretch in the bottoms of the feet. And then shift your body weight back. And we'll move into our bootstrappers. So reach your hands onto the legs wherever you're most comfortable. We've got 4 bootstrappers. So bend both knees and then straighten. Again, inhale down, exhale, straighten, and 2 more. On this last one, soften your knees, tuck your tailbone, roll yourself up to the top, and we will begin from the top one more time. Roll your shoulders back and around, soften your knees. Big inhales as you roll your shoulders around. And 2 more. And tuck your chin, soften your knees, roll yourself down into a forward fold. And into a half lift, hands to your thighs, flatten your back. And bend your right knee, straighten your left, wrap your hands around your legs. And move to the other side. And crouch down, reaching the hands out in front to assist on the balls of your feet. Stay here for a moment, maybe move forward and back. Just getting a deeper stretch. And then walk your hands out onto all fours. Toes are tucked, and we shift our body weight back. And then walk your hands towards your knees. Move into your bootstrappers, hands on the legs, bend both knees on the inhale. Exhale, straighten. And 2 more. And soften your knees and tuck your tailbone, roll all the way up, back and around. And we're moving on. All right, we're gonna move into our hips and glutes next. So we're gonna come down to the mat. We're gonna sit on our backside, hands right to the sides, feet out in front. You're gonna take your feet a little bit wider. We're gonna work on internal and external rotation of the hips, okay? So if any of these stretches don't feel good, take them at your own pace, at the own depth of movement. It's really about your body, your stretch, and what works best for you. So take your hands back, roll your shoulders back into place. We're simply gonna rock our knees to the right, and then just slowly rock them up and over to the left. There. Taking some deep breaths as you move through these movements. Feels so wonderful on the hips. Continue. And you do not have to lay your legs all the way to the floor. You may just get a couple of inches in each direction, and that's okay. And we'll take 1 more to the other side. And we're going to add on to this stretch. So we're going to take our legs to the right. You'll notice that they're in kind of a 90-90 position. So I want you to walk your hands up. You're gonna rotate your body. Now, if this is too much stretch going on in the hips, you can take your back leg and just simply move it out to the side. Maybe it's out to the front, out to the side, whatever feels good. But your front knee is bent. We're gonna lift through our midsection and then hinge forward. Now that hinge might be very small. You may have the flexibility to come down further. Listen to your body and do what's best. And walk your hands back up. Take a big inhale at the top, both arms up. And exhale. Once again, tip forward at the hips. Maybe each time going a little deeper as your body gets warmer and more flexible. Walk your hands back up. Big inhale at the top. And on your last one, go into your deepest stretch. And walk your hands back to your legs. Big inhale at the top. And exhale, let those arms come down. We're gonna rotate ourselves back to the center and go to the other side. So sitting up nice and tall, pulling in through the midsection, This side for me is a little more tight than my other side, so I'm gonna modify a little bit by just taking the back leg further forward. I may even have it out to the side as I move forward into this stretch. So listen to your body, each side is different. Hinging forward at the hips. And rock back. Take a big inhale all the way up. And exhale down. And then walk those hands forward. Again, going a little deeper each time. Walk your hands back in and take a big inhale up. And exhale down. And on this last one, let's go to our furthest depth of stretch. I'm gonna try to put that back leg behind now that my hips have opened a little bit more. And walk your hands back in. Take a big inhale all the way up. And exhale, release. Good. We're gonna move into a butterfly stretch. So take the bottoms of your feet together. We're gonna start by having our hands in front. You'll notice your back is a little bit rounded in this position. So go ahead and just roll forward, tuck your chin, press your knees toward the mat, and then take a big inhale and lift up. If you can't reach your toes, you can hold on to your legs as well. Okay, so big inhale, lift the chest, and exhale. And inhale, lift your chest. Continue to drop the knees toward the mat. And one more time. Exhale, tip forward. And inhale, lift through the chest. Now to deepen the stretch through the hips and inner thighs, we're gonna walk our hands back behind, roll our shoulders back into place, and push the heels of our feet together, dropping your knees toward the mat. To reset, let's close the legs up for just a moment. On your next exhale, push the feet together and drop your knees toward the mat once again. Good, and last one. Big inhale in, and exhale, open it back out. And again, rock back into those hands, lift your chest, and release. Bring your feet back together. We're gonna roll over onto our knees and move into a lunging sequence. So starting on your knees, okay, we're gonna take our right leg forward. So you can step that leg forward into a nice big lunge. Now our back knee, we're gonna drop back behind us, okay, ever so slightly so that we're not resting on the top of our kneecap. We've got a long line from knee to knee, okay? So letting the hips drop here, feeling the opening through the hip flexor. Lift your chest, lean back, and hold right here. Now, if this is uncomfortable on your back knee, you can fold your mat over or you can put a towel underneath your knee to give a little extra cushion. Stay here for just a moment. We're gonna take our hands to the inside of our front leg. So bring both hands down. And if that's not comfortable, you can have one hand on your knee. Now this one is purely comfort-based, so if it doesn't feel good, please do not do it. You're gonna take the front leg, rock onto the outside of the foot, feeling an opening through the hip, external rotation, and stay right here. Now you can take both hands to the ground if you'd like. And flatten that foot. Walk your hands back up, hands to the hips. Lift through the chest, drop your hips down, and breathe. And we'll repeat that. Take your hands back down towards the mat. Rock onto the outside of your front foot. Place that foot flat on the mat, walk your hands back up. On this last time through the lunging stretch, go ahead and lift both arms if it feels good. Extend through the spine. And take both hands down toward the mat. Rock onto the outside of your front foot. And release. Very good. We're going to switch to the other side. So bring your front leg back. Rock into a child's pose. And we'll begin to step forward with our left leg. So left leg forward, and you can get it there however you need to. Knee over ankle, back knee reaching back behind, not right under the hips. Again, stay here. Take your hands to your hips. Let your hips drop and extend through the spine. Let's walk our hands down to the inside of our front leg. Rock onto the outside of your front foot. Again, each side is different, so be gentle with your body. Again, you might need assistance by having one hand here. And flatten that foot to the mat. Walk your hands back to your leg. And lift up and back. Good, last time through. Let's go a little deeper. Both hands to the mat, rock onto the outside of that foot. Again, only stretching if it feels good. If you're feeling pain, it's not a good stretch for you. Go back to the modified version. And flatten out that foot, walk your hands back. Very good, and lift both arms up. And release, both hands come to the ground, and let's push back into a child's pose. That front leg comes back, knees underneath your body, and shift your hips from side to side. Great job. All right, moving into our next hip and glute stretch. We're gonna keep our hands right where they are, tuck our toes underneath our feet, press our hips up and back. Now lift your right leg up. You're gonna sweep your right knee through your hands and slide your left leg back behind. So into a pigeon stretch. And you can rock your hips side to side, feeling the release in the glutes. And then as this feels good, begin to walk your hands and elbows down to the mat, and we'll stay here for just a couple moments. And let's tuck our toes, hands underneath our shoulders, rock back into a downward facing dog. And this time lift your left leg up and slide your knee between your hands and slide the opposite leg back behind. So your front heel is going into the hip pocket on the opposite side. Again, rock side to side. And take the hands down to the mat, elbows to the floor. And let's take our hands, put a little pressure underneath them, tuck your back toes, rock into a downward facing dog. Hips are high. And we'll repeat that stretch 2 more times on each side. So lift your right leg up and bring the knee through the middle. Slide your leg back, lift through the chest to begin. And then exhale, bring it down to the mat. And tuck your toes, press back into a downward facing dog, and left leg lifts. And send that knee between the hands, slide back, lift through your chest. And again, feel free to rock side to side if you need to, and then walk it on down. And return to downward facing dog. Hips are high, right leg comes into the air, and we send it through and lift through our chest. Every time getting a little deeper into these stretches. And maybe you'd like to reach your hands all the way out this time. And rock back into your downward facing dog. Left leg lifts. Send it forward. And relax that back foot, lift up, and fold forward. Okay. All right, come onto your hands and knees. We're gonna finish the hips and glute stretch on our backside in a figure 4 position. So first things first, let's take our right leg, cross it over. This may be as far as you go with your figure 4 stretch. A little gentle pressure here, lifting through your chest here. So sometimes we find ourselves tucked in this position, but I want you to lift through your chest. Okay, that is your first option. Next option, rock your hands back, bring your hips close to your front heel, and press the knee open. Keep your top foot flexed and enjoy the stretch. Great, we'll go ahead and switch to the other side. So release the leg, okay, stretch it out in front of you. Begin first by testing out if you need to stay here in this modified position, or if you can go right into the figure 4 with the heel and hip close to one another. And we'll go ahead and repeat that. So stretch your leg out long and switch. Okay, determine which one's best for you. Go right there and enjoy the stretch. Now, if you tend to be sinking into this position right here, roll your shoulders up, back and around. Great posture all the time. And release and switch to the other side. We've got one more time throw on each side. So extend that leg out, switch to the other side. Bring the heel and hip close to one another. Now I'd like you to turn your head away from your front leg. So if it's your right leg on top, I want you to turn your head away. Feel a little deeper stretch into that top hip. And then switch to the other side. Extend the leg. Reset, get into position first, and then just turn and look away. You're getting a slight rotation through the trunk. And release. All right, unwind your legs, roll over onto your hands and knees. We're gonna move into our back release. So we're gonna start with the low back. We'll go into our neck and traps, so kind of the upper part of the back, and then we'll move into our thoracic spine, which is right through the middle, okay? So rotate your wrists around. I know we spent a little bit of time on our wrists, so we wanna make sure we loosen those up. So rotate them around. Anytime we're on our hands, if it's not comfortable, go to your elbows if possible. All right, let's go ahead and go onto all fours. We're gonna move into a cat-cow stretch. So this is really gonna release the low back. It's also gonna open up through the front of the body in half of the stretch. So knees are underneath our hips, hands are underneath our shoulders. First things first, we're gonna just tuck our chin towards our chest. As that happens, draw your belly button up into your spine, pressing away from your mat. And then reverse this stretch by just gently rolling through the upper back and releasing your low back, tilting your hips up, your chest up. And again, tuck your chin, slowly, slowly. Begin to roll up just like someone's pulling through your midsection, pulling you up toward the ceiling. And release. Slowly move through that arched back position. Keeping your shoulders away from your ears. Sometimes we tuck them up, but we want to pull them down. And one last time right here, tuck your chin, roll it up. And slowly release. Good, take a big inhale while you're here. Big exhale. And then just sit back. We're gonna roll onto our sides and onto our back. So begin first by hugging your knees in towards your body, rocking side to side, releasing any tension in the low back. All right, we're gonna drop our knees all the way to one side, keeping our knees stacked, okay? We're gonna keep both arms out toward the side here and stay. Now you're gonna feel that stretch through the low back. You're also feeling it through the thoracic spine as well. Anytime we're twisting, we're feeling that through our mid-back. And gently walk your knees up and over to the other side and turn your head in the opposite direction. And I'll give you an option to stretch just a little deeper on this next one. So bring your legs up and over. I'm gonna have you straighten your bottom leg and let that top knee just fall toward the ground. And switch to the other side. Again, option for the bottom leg to go straight, top leg to stay bent, shoulders are still on the ground. And on this last one, we'll add a little assistance in the stretch. So bottom leg is straight, top leg is assisted by the opposite hand. Just a gentle press on the outside of the knee. Turn your head away. And take it to the other side. And again, if that doesn't feel good, to add the press of the hand and then just keep your knees together or stay with that second option, just using the weight of the leg to pull into that stretch. Good, we'll come back into our starting position with our knees hugging in toward our body, rocking side to side, just feeling a little massage for the sacrum and the low back. And we're gonna move into our neck and upper back next. Okay, so you can go ahead and take your hands behind your legs, roll yourself up into a seated position. Now you can take your legs in front, you can cross them, whatever is most comfortable for you. But we're gonna roll our shoulders back and around. So our neck holds so much tension, our neck and upper back hold so much tension throughout our lives. And so we wanna make sure we're constantly releasing them, because you've all felt that twinge or that pull when you move into a fast movement that's not even related to your neck, and it locks up and it hurts. Or maybe you sleep on it wrong and you wake up and you're kinked all day. So really keeping those muscles really pliable and stretched out is going to be great just for the rest of your life, the rest of your day and your life and all of your other movements. So we're going to take our hands by your side to begin with, pull the belly button in nice and tight, and then just drop our ear to one side. Very simple stretch, but something we should be doing more of all the time. So while you're here, try to relax the rest of your body. And up and over to the other side. So this might be the extent of your stretch. As we move into some deeper stretches for the neck and traps, you may need to stay here, and that's okay. All right, tuck the ear toward the opposite shoulder. We're gonna hold here, and I want you to take your opposite hand and reach it out. So it's at a low push, reaching it out. If that doesn't feel good, put it back to the floor. And switch to the other side, just up and over, Find that position first, drop your shoulders, and press. Good. All right, one more time, next level, okay? Take your head up and over, and extend the arm. And if you would like to, you can just take a gentle bit of pressure on the outside of the head. And then switch to the other side. So get into position first. Okay. Reach the arm. Gently put pressure on the head. All right, very similar to this move. Okay, we're gonna now go at an angle. All right, so take your hands back down to the ground. Okay, we're gonna tilt our head to the side just like we did. And then I want you to drop your chin down toward the chest, looking across your body to your opposite knee. Tuck your chin down the middle and just tilt it to the other side. So now you're looking past your opposite knee in the other direction. And tuck your chin. Just move through that position. Okay, option now if you'd like to. Again, reach your opposite arm. So if your head is tilting to the right, you are moving your arm to the left. And tuck your chin. Reach that opposite arm. And we'll take the last time, this time adding a little bit more pressure. So now reaching to the back of your head, just gentle pressure. That might be all you need. Maybe you want the reach. Please do not overstretch. Listen to your body. And tuck your chin down and move it to the other side, looking across to your knee. Little press from the back and extend your arm out. Very good. And release. Good. Roll your shoulders up, back, and around. Let's go ahead and move into our thoracic spine, which is right through the middle of our back, okay? So we're gonna start, if you have a chair and you wanna do this in a seated position, you can. I'm gonna show this to you in a standing position. So go ahead and come to your feet. So if you were gonna do this in a seated position, you would just sit in your chair with the back and you would rock back over the back of the chair. It feels wonderful. But I'm gonna show you from a standing position as well. So knees are soft, fingers are behind our ears. We're gonna pull our abdominals in nice and tight, whether you're seated or standing. I want you to lift up, squeeze your back, and lean up and back. So not only do you get an abdominal stretch here, but you get an extension through the back. Good. And then we will just rock forward, close it all up, elbows come together. And let's try it again. Elbows open, lift up and back. Hold that position, breathe deep. And close it up, elbows come together, rounding through your upper back. And let's try that one more time. So lift up and open. Again, if you're using that chair, lift up and over that chair. And bring it all in and release. Good job. All right, roll your shoulders back and around. We're gonna move into some rotation. So we're gonna take it back down to the ground on our back. Knees are gonna come in. We're gonna take both knees over. Now this time, similar to the first stretch, but we're gonna hug our knees a little closer to our body, as close as we can get them, okay? We're gonna take our fingers and place them behind our ears. We're gonna just hold on to our top leg, okay? Then we're gonna try to drop the elbow and shoulder down to the mat. So really getting more of a twist through the spine. Not only that, you're getting a nice stretch for the pecs as well. Eyes are looking straight up. And release. Go ahead and rotate over to the other side. Again, knees are stacked on top of each other, hugging close to your body, okay? Opposite arm, fingers behind the ear, same arm as legs. You just put some pressure on those legs or give them a big hug or maybe wrap around your hip, whatever you can do. But you want to lower your elbow and shoulder to the mat, staying in this twisted position. And again, breathing deeply. I always feel like I'm wringing out the muscles around my spine when I'm doing this stretch. All right, we're gonna repeat to the other side, giving an option for a little bit more shoulder mobility if you would like. So again, bring those knees in, hug, take your finger behind your ears, and reach the elbow to the ground. Okay? From here, the fingers behind the ears are going to stretch out nice and long, and then lift up overhead, and then move in a big circle. Very, very slow, controlled, reaching out, kind of more like a half circle, really. And then stop with the fingers behind the ears. And switch to the other side. So same thing. Hug those knees in tight. Start with the fingers behind the ears. You may need to stay with this the whole time. That's all right. If it feels good, reach your arm out. Bring it up. And slowly around in that half circle. Take your time here. Letting the weight of the arm assist the stretch. And we will stop with the fingers behind the ears and hold. Good. All right, one more time to each side. So rock your knees over. This time, if you would like to, you can take the top leg, stretch it out, okay? Gently pull underneath the hamstring, okay? Or maybe just put pressure on the hip, your choice. Again, fingers behind the ears, hold here, okay? And reach your arm out. Same arm pattern as before. And we will stop with our fingers right behind your ears for that last bit of stretch here. And then walk your knees up and over to the other side. Knees are stacked, top leg stretches out if you'd like, fingers behind the ears, a gentle pull or maybe just a press down. And then extend your arm out. Again, eyes are looking straight up, hand comes up. And slowly move into that half circle. Good job. And one more time, we'll stop with the fingers behind the ears. And release. Hug your knees into your body. Good. Take your feet to the ground. Lift your hips up off the mat. Give your hip flexors a great stretch. Now, we are going to move into a short core segment, okay? So, take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale through an open mouth. Take your hands behind your legs. Good. Roll yourself up into a seated position. And then we're going to roll over into a downward facing dog. So, go ahead and take your hands shoulder distance apart. Okay, we're gonna tuck our toes, rock back into a downward facing dog, and I'll show modifications here in just a moment. Okay, our first bit of core work, okay, we're gonna take our right leg, lift it up in that downward facing dog. So great stretch for the hamstrings, and then we're gonna rock forward into a plank and tap our top leg to our supporting heel. We'll stretch it right back up. Okay. And again, taking this nice and slow, pulling through the core, and tap down. Good, continue. Option if you need it, okay, is a child's pose, and then an extension of the leg. And a child's pose, and an extension of the leg. You've got one more on this side, so lift that leg up, and tap down, and rock into a child's pose, downward facing dog, both feet on the ground, and we'll switch to the other side. So extend the leg up. As you rock forward into a plank, tap toe to heel and lift. Good, exhaling as you tap the feet together, and inhale to lift up. And you've got one more time. Good, rock into a downward facing dog. All right, little intermission move. We're gonna drop our knees to the ground. We're gonna extend our body onto our mat. Take our hands underneath our forehead, okay? Our legs are hip distance apart, our abdominals are pulled in tight. We're just going to lift from the hips, our legs off the floor. Head is going to be pointing down. We're gonna flutter our legs here. So little flutter kicks for the glutes. So head down and flutter, flutter, flutter as fast as you can. These can be slow, but if they're fast, I want a little bit more speed if possible. Good, we've got 3 and 2 and 1, and rock back into a child's pose. And we're gonna repeat those 2 moves one more time. So into a downward facing dog. So hips lift up and back, right leg extends. And exhale, tap the toe to the heel. And inhale, press up. Exhale. And inhale, lift up. Good. And you've got one more time on this side. And bring that top leg down into a downward facing dog. And let's switch to the other side. Lift up, exhale forward, and inhale, lift. Good, 2 more just like that. Lift up. And drop both knees to the mat. Rock back into a brief child's pose. And then come forward onto your front side, hands on top of each other. Again, legs hip distance, lift those legs off the mat and flutter. And 3, 2, 1, and release. Push back into a child's pose. All right, this next move is going to involve your triceps, shoulders, and abdominals. So we're gonna take our hands forward into a plank position. Okay, that's a little forward reaching than we normally do. So if you wanna start on your knees, I would highly recommend that. Now you're not on your kneecaps, but you're on the front of your knees with your heels together. So knees are about hip distance apart. We're gonna reach our hands in front of our shoulders, okay? Our abdominals are zipped up nice and tight, and we're gonna lower our elbows down to the mat. So our elbows become right underneath our shoulders, and then we'll press back up just like that. Okay, let's do it 5 times. Here we go. Squeeze your butt tight and release down. Exhale, press up. And inhale, lower down. Exhale, press back up. Good, we've got 2 more. 2 more. And last one right here. Press it all the way up, hold, and then release down to the mat. All right, just walk your knees a little further apart, almost to the edges of your mat. Take your hands on either side, open like an airplane. Now you're gonna separate your feet, toes are pointing to the ceiling. We're going to begin by first lifting our upper body. Okay, that's your first level if you'd like this. This is a skydiver hold. So option just upper body if you would like. Begin to lift from the hips, squeezing your glutes, pointing your toes toward the ceiling. We're gonna hold this for 10 seconds. So an isometric hold for the back of the body. And here's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release back down. Reset your position for that forward reaching plank. So hands out in front, come up onto the front of the legs, heels back together. Okay, plank position. And let's lower the elbows to the mat. Here we go. And exhale back up. Good, try to press evenly with both hands as you press off the mat. And here's number 3. And last one right here. Exhale, big press to the top. And then everything comes down. Good, walk your hands to the side. Again, separate the legs, toes point up, abdominals are pulled into your back. Okay, eyes are looking down at the mat, ready, set, and lift the upper body to begin with. Squeeze your shoulder blades. If that feels good, lift the legs as well. And hold here. Good, we've got 5 seconds left. Now 3, and 2, and 1. And release. Rock back into a child's pose. And we've got one more set to finish off this core piece. And then we're done. So come to your hands and knees. All right, we're gonna take our right hand, we're gonna place our fist at our temple, elbows out to the side. We're gonna drop this elbow down to our supporting hand. So if you need to go onto your knuckles, that's fine, but we're gonna rotate through the spine, drop down, and then we're gonna open back up. Good, let's do that 5 times. Here we go. So you can inhale down and exhale back up. And maybe you don't go all the way to the ground, and that's not a big deal. Okay, listen to your body. Good, let's try one more time right here. Inhale down and exhale, lift. And we'll switch to the other side. Take that hand down, okay, fist to the temple, and we'll drop our elbow to our wrist and open to the opposite side. You've got 2 more on this side. Good, last one right here. And lift. And bring it all the way down to the mat, okay? We're gonna straighten out our legs. Both hands are gonna go on top of each other. You can even slide your hands to your elbows if you'd like to. Our legs are relaxed to the floor, but our glutes are squeezing tight. So we're gonna lift our upper body up off of the mat. We're gonna drop one elbow and look through the window of your elbows and then come back to the center. Okay, let's go ahead and begin right here. So we lift up, rotate, keep our hips pointing to the ground, come back to the center, lower down. Again, let's do 2 more on each side. So rotate, you can even press that bottom elbow to the mat, come back to the center, and switch. Your head is resting in your hands. That's gonna keep your neck completely safe while you're in this position. And last time here. And release. Push back into a child's pose. And let's repeat that last segment one more time. So onto your hands and knees. Fist comes to the temple. Okay, nice flat back. And we'll exhale, bring the elbow down. Inhale down. And exhale, open up. Getting a deeper stretch. Second time through. As you open that elbow up. And last one right here. Good, go ahead and switch to the other side, both hands down, fist to temple, and begin. Inhale down, and exhale. Very last one. And let's find ourselves face down on the mat. One last time. This is our last move. Put your hands on your arms. Your head goes on your hands. Legs are straight. Hips are pressing toward the mat while our abdominals are pulling up to support our back. Good. Let's inhale to lift. Exhale to rotate. And inhale back to the center. Exhale, rotate to the other side. Inhale, center, and exhale, rotate. Inhale, center. Good, let's try one more for each side. Keep your glutes squeezing tight as you move through this position. Keep your hands on top of one another. And here's the last one. And release. Good, rock back into your child's pose. Good job. Take your hands to the right, take your hips to the left. And switch sides. And walk your hands right back to the center. Drag your hands across the floor as you gently roll yourself up to a kneeling position. As your head comes up and back, squeeze through your glutes. Both arms lift up. Circle your arms out and around. And reset with good posture. And I hope you feel wonderful after that stretching video. And feel free to use this every day of the week if you need to, or just parts of it as needed. Have a great day.